If you're considering a Synology NAS, it's almost certainly because you've heard their software is the best, and frankly, it is still the score to beat. I'm going to single out two in particular. Number one is Active Backup, ABS, ABB. It's got different names, but ultimately it is a premium business-grade backup application appliance that allows you to synchronize and back up all your different devices from client tools, PC, Macs, and mobile devices, all the way through to large-scale servers, remote access, virtual machine servers, and more, all of it being managed by a single device. The other one that I think most people are going to use is something called Synology Drive, which is their synchronized client tool that you can install on your client devices. And unlike a backup application that manages and ensures that all your data is back up and duplicated in the right fashion, Synology Drive appliance is about synchronization, matching teams together, file pinning, file streaming, an intelligent background operation, so you never have to interact with the NAS directly, and all of your client tools do the work that you want them to do. The Synology desktop range comfortably is among the most power efficient, ultimately the amount of power being utilized by each operation, and the lowest noise and the lowest temp running devices in desktop that I've seen on the channel. They just run better. Finally, this is something you generally hear quite a lot about Synology products when people consider looking at alternatives. These just work. There are people that are still utilizing 12, 15-year-old Synology NAS solutions that, although they may not get the latest firmware updates anymore, are still running. The brand does have a tendency to remove certain features, big and small, to the detriment of the platform for many users. They can be small, like when they're transitioned from Synology Moments into Synology Photos, with a bunch of features and services missing from that. On top of that, there was when they removed HEVC support, or 8.265, a highly efficient video codec support on a number of their devices due to, they said, licensing. But still, nonetheless, that meant that a lot of users were not being able to transition multimedia and convert it into better suiting versions for remote access client devices in the most efficient way possible. Remember earlier all that praise I gave them for their software? Well, it is certainly to the detriment of that hardware. Unless you're going to spend at the very least $2,000 to $2,500, you're not really going to be seeing much in terms of the hardware. They certainly prioritize the software overall. And the problem is, under that price point, a lot of the hardware on offer is very underwhelming against some of the competitors in the market. Finally, you may or may not be aware, Synology got in a lot of hot water during 2025 for the better part of 6 months when their newer generation 2025 series of devices rolled out with the inability to use drives that weren't Synology branded. However, they reversed that policy, but not completely. And right now, at the start of 2026, I will say, these devices, although you can use in the newer generation in DSM 7.3, the ability to use WD and Seagate drives, it only applies to 2025 generation desktop devices, the DiskStation series. If you're going to go for a RackStation, if you're going to go for a surveillance system, if you want to use third-party M.2 SSDs, none of these are supported still. The lockout continues.